This freaking old man over here.
I'm an old man. What the hell?
So do you like I gotta throw away all the coupon mailers because they know that I have a car that needs an oil change.
I shred them. Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the Mid-Geek Crisis, everyone. Oh my God. We'll kick this off right with the proper...
So wait, before you kick it off, on the Facebooks, it says that this show was going to start at 10:45 p.m. Did you have it set to like West Coast time?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
This is why everything needs to be set to Eastern Standard Time. Everyone knows what time that is.
I don't know. It said go live in a few minutes, so like...
Yeah, it did got that right, but the link is all like 10:45. I was like, this guy better not be starting up the show that late.
10:45. What? No, that's incorrect. Incorrect information. God damn it. Clocks. It's what's for. I know, man. Like it's just. It was a hectic day, as hectic as the week was last week. Today just became. The wife. I cooked dinner, and wife got home a little earlier or later than normal, and. So we ate dinner later, and it was just a mess. Kids are down. Everything's quiet now. I can do the show. It was like 10 minutes later than I wanted it to be.
Joe doesn't know that I'm watching him. He's been creeping this time later and later every day. And
I know. I'm trying not to. No. I don't want. I want it. 8:30. 8:30 is what time this show's supposed to go. Let's kick this off.
Thanks for jumping on, Ditch. Let's roll the credits.
Let's roll the brand here. Let's go.
Let's roll the brand.
Let's go. Welcome, everyone, to episode 154 of the Mid-Geek Crisis. My name is Joe, handle the Afroman, partner in crime.
I am Pedro. You can find me as Cautious Online. Ditch that witch says we should start the cam at 8:30 sharp, even if the show isn't up, and they can let us watch the chores. So we
I know, right? Yeah,
Ditch is going to find me without pants chasing the cats out of this room. Shoot, get out, cat. I'm doing
I
new
don't
show
even have
soon.
Cats, and I'm chasing stuff around with no pants on. Like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, man. So we'll kick this off just with, of course, the background kind of tells a little bit of everything. Yesterday was November 15th, 2021, which was exactly 20 years ago that the Xbox launched.
Hey, Vagabond, thanks for jumping on.
And that's it's a big deal. I mean,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal just because I kind of praise Microsoft for sticking with it for as long as they have, right? Microsoft is a big enough company that they could have went, this doesn't make us the money that we really want.
Oh, that's fair.
And just moved on. And they are the de facto American video game company, right?
They certainly are.
I mean, Sony, Nintendo, Sega, everyone who's come before us has been always outside of the US. And with that also comes the critique that it is the American way of doing things and why certain games don't come to the platform and why certain developers don't exactly push everything that they need to do. Sure. A good example was yesterday, all the companies were like, congratulations, Xbox, whatever. And Square Enix said something. They were like, oh, congratulations, Xbox, we had a wonderful time. And they got drugged through the coals.
Oh, really?
In Twitter, because everyone was like, what are you thanking them for? Every franchise we want, you refuse to put on Xbox. Like, everything comes late. You don't we're still missing a ton of Final Fantasies. Like, every time we announce a new project, it's like, oh, it's for Sony.
Wants to play old Final Fantasies on their new Xbox. Why is this?
That's why they released 78 backwards compatible titles yesterday.
78, is it 78 or 76? I saw that list. I wasn't like, yay. Right? There's like a few games that like look like I may have missed the boat, but also they're not huge games. There we go.
Yeah, it was pretty hype. Advent Rising was a good one. Yeah, that's a great one. USA Vagabond. I missed you. I haven't seen you around in a while.
It's great.
No, another. Well, let's talk about this. First off, with what Xbox's way of doing things has been with this new system is, of course, we've only now officially have two major exclusive Xbox Series X and S titles, which has been Horizons 5, which came out last week, and then today or yesterday was the surprise drop of Halo Infinite. When I say exclusive, that means that it was designed for that system. That doesn't mean that you can't play it on something else. You can play it on PC, and same thing with Horizons as well. But I mean, that is the Xbox way right now. Their motto this generation is the more ways to play, the happier we are. I think is what their motto is.
Pergamine just mentioned that we can't forget Microsoft Flight
Simulator. Thank you, Pergamine. That's right. Even though that was a PC launch at first, it is an exclusive console only for the Xbox Series S and X, and that is a big deal as well. But one of the other big pushes that Xbox has had is not forget about the past, right? Like bringing those old games, bringing games that might have run poorly, might have had big issues, and just optimize. And
it's the Rockstar approach to video game launches, right? Just keep taking the old games.
That's the definitive way of doing things. We don't talk about the definitive way. Don't segue on me just yet, sir. We're getting there.
I've just been saving up these burns all week.
Oh, God, Rockstar. So again, Pergamine mentioned Advent Rising. Another one, which is an interesting title that got put, was Sonic Unleashed. It is a title that it gets loved. It's got a following. It's a good platformer, but it's always had really bad frame issues.
Oh, right. I remember that. Yep.
It's had really bad frame issues, and it is now 4K 60. It only took three generations of consoles. Like, I mean, 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. It took 3 generations of power for that game to be optimized finally.
Thank you to the 5 fans who have been tweeting Microsoft nonstop for this release.
You laugh, but don't you anger the Sonic fans, sir.
I am being sincere. Thank you so much.
They hide in great numbers.
As Dan said, it was ahead of its time.
It's just it's a weird one. It's got the were Sonic, where he turns into like a werehog, and he just has like a brawler style. But it's 4K 60, and I saw gameplay on it online, and it looked absolutely amazing. I was like, whoa, it looks like a new Sonic game. And so that's kind of the cool thing, is a lot of these games that ran poorly. A good example is Advent Rising, as Pergamine was saying. That's a console title that didn't run very well on the Xbox, and now it's running beautifully on a new generation of console. And yes, it is an old game, but we say old games and people don't want to play old games, but the problem is a lot of these old games might not have been played because they were ahead of the time and not enough power.
It's a second chance for an old game.
It's a second chance for an old game and a developer. And what's great is some of these games, not all of them, mind you. A good example of a game that got put on there, two specifically. One, Smarter Than a Fifth Grader got put up.
Yeah, I saw that on the list.
And everyone was like, that could have gone to something else. But another one that was interesting was 50 Cent. What is it? Blood in the Sand, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And that one apparently has a huge following, because that was like when I was looking at Twitter and seeing the feed, everyone was like, yes, we've been asking for 50 Cent. I'm like, who's asking for this? And sure enough, I look online and a copy of that game goes for like $150.
Okay.
And
because it's got great music.
I don't know.
It's got great controls.
But here's another thing: is that's one of the titles that you can only play if you have the disc.
Interesting.
As in, so here's the thing, right? With Xbox, when you pop the game in, it downloads a copy and downloads a digital copy that's optimized for your system. You have to have the game in as a key to play the game. But let's say, for example, it's a game that you want to play, but you don't own the disc, but you saw that it got put up. You go and look online, and sure enough, a lot of the titles can be purchased. A good example is 2 of the big Sega games, Otogi.
Right, I saw that was on the list.
Those are fantastic games. Fantastic. It's a completely forgotten franchise by Sega, and they're fantastic. But Part 1 goes for about $100. Part 2 goes for like $250. They're like rare small print games from Sega. Even though they came out, they're just hard to find.
Sure.
But those are only $20 digitally.
Oh, all right. So I could just buy them digital for $20.
Buy them $20 for digitally, but 50 cent Blood in the Sand cannot be purchased at all. It's not on the store. You can't actually go and buy it.
You have to own the disc somewhere.
You actually have to own the disc.
I wonder, is that just because it's like hard to get the licensing rights from 50 Cent?
Yes. So
is he dead? Am I wrong on that? In my head, I feel
no. You're thinking about DMX.
Oh, okay. All right. There you go. Yes, that's really bad. I'm sorry. That's really bad.
No. Here's the thing. One of the
can you own a disc? Yes, Dan. I think we've established in the canon of our show.
Yes,
that you
the
can
canon
own
of our
a
show.
disc.
You can't own the disc. One of the other things that was interesting about this drop was this was at the 20th anniversary. They announced these 76 titles, right? 76 titles, and then 35 of them are FPS boost, which what that means is a lot of them will get from 30 frames to 60 frames a second, or 4K 60, or they'll be locked at a 30 with higher res. You know, just a good example of like optimizing a title. But in the presser, when they announced it, they said that this will be the last batch of games.
Yeah, they're not going to backwards compatible anymore games.
They can't do it anymore. And the reason, and they were pretty upfront with the reasons. They were like, because of legal reasons and licensing, this is all we could get. Like, it looks like they had a team dedicated to this, and they reached out to all of these teams. And we have to think back. A lot of these titles that people might request are maybe teams that don't exist anymore, and the rights have now fallen to publishers that have been sold through multiple hands.
Sure.
And at that point, it's just a legal mumbo jumbo that maybe the company's like, it's not worth us investing time to license this game out to you. Yeah, it's definitely a stretch. I'm not sure. Like, everyone likes money for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe the music that used in some of these games, and then the new rights owner has to now find a way to pay those people, because again, it's multiple steps, right? Like, every game has music in it. A good example is the GTA games, right? The new GTA Definitive, they ripped out a good chunk of tracks on them because they couldn't go back and get the music rights to those. So definitively not definitive.
So that's, it's interesting because, like,
exact reason why GoldenEye will never get an official remake is because of MGM and Bond and the music and the likenesses of all the actors used.
But if I find Blood in the Sand at a yard sale and put it into my Xbox, I can play it.
Right, because the purchase has already happened.
It's on my disc. I have purchased the license, and someone else got the money that they should have gotten when that was purchased. But they didn't get the repurchase.
Right.
They didn't get their cut of the repurchase, right? So it's weird that digital games can't just behave that way.
Yeah,
right?
it's a mess. It's
fine.
One of the reasons why while we were gone a week, they pulled Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3 from digital purchase. You couldn't purchase them. And I haven't read if they came back or not, but it had to do with the fact that in the game they have war clips, historical clips, and they lost the rights to those.
To those archival cuts.
To those archival cuts. And so this is the scary digital future that we talk about, where you're like, I want to buy this game, and you can't. Or an example of, we'll segue to GTA here. GTA goes, hey, we're going to release this new definitive version. Everyone's like, yay. And then all of a sudden they realize, wait a minute, all the old ones have been pulled from all the stores.
They've all disappeared, yes.
They've all disappeared. So
it's like Star Wars original edition. You got to find a VHS tape somewhere. Sure.
That's right. So if you own it, if you bought it on Steam, or you own it on Xbox or 360 or one of the digital marketplaces, you can always download those. That purchase is yours. But if you want to buy the original cut of Grand Theft Auto 3 right now, like, you don't own it, you want to buy it right now, you cannot, unless you go and buy a disc.
Yeah.
So that's troubling.
Vagabond says, because the music license is a flat fee for the SKU rather than a percentage, they run the math on whether sales will offset paying 50 cents another $250K to sell it digital. There you go. So that's part of it. That's why we won't see that available. Why pay them another $250K? Because you'd have to sell a ton of copies. Chris Pratt is getting every single role in Hollywood. A lot easier to get approval for one person than for future remakes. Yeah, basically they just have him on speed dial, right?
Yeah, I mean he's now, I think, isn't he playing Master Chief now in the new live action? Isn't that him as well? Like, I just feel like he's just gonna take the mantle of every major mascot for
Why
video
not?
games.
He's not busy. He's doing all sorts of stuff.
But think how powerful the Highlander of voice talent. Yeah, no, totally. There can be only one choice for sure. Oh man, yeah,
he's defeated all the other Chris's. That's what's happened, right?
Oh man. So, has anyone downloaded Halo?
I did not download Halo. It's multiplayer only right now, right?
Right, it's multiplayer only.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's a lot of fun, man. It's got a great tutorial, a great academy mode, and
Vagabond is playing it right now.
It's got a great bots mode.
Awesome.
So I mean, that's something that you don't usually see in a lot of the new shooters. Basically, if you want to just go in and wreck shop and just get good, you just load a map that you like
and play with bots.
And there's no ending.
Halo has always had bots, right? I mean,
I don't remember there being a bot mode.
I remember there being bots. Maybe I'm thinking.
Maybe there is, and I haven't played it long enough. Like I always remember just being online and always having to create. I mean, you could create your own host and like drop yourself in, but I don't remember AI controlled other players. I mean, the number of times I played Halo can be counted on like one hand. So, but it's been fun so far. I played it quite a few hours last night and played it some today. I played it on PC and on Series X, and they both run stable. What's nice is it's free to play, so you can go and download it for free on Steam. It is kind of Fortnite.
And you can crossplay too, right?
Yeah, you can crossplay. And you can also plug in a keyboard and mouse into your Xbox and use a keyboard and mouse.
Don't tell people that. That's how
it's in the menu options. It's like you go into settings and you're like, keyboard and mouse. What? I don't have one plugged. Oh. Can it play on iOS? It can through xCloud. If you open up Safari and log in, it actually works. And I've seen people play it that way, and it works well, which is weird. Yeah, I'm playing it on Steam. Mind blown. Yeah, exactly. It is available on Steam.
So not like Fortnite. So
yeah, no. I said the Fortnite model, as in like free to play. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, it is like Fortnite because once you log in, there is a store and there is like, hey, helmets and stuff for sale. So I mean, they are following.
Unless I can put on a Darth Vader skin and run around my Halo map, I don't care.
I guarantee you there will be some sort of licensee like costumes and helmets.
If I can get a Sonic skin, I'll run around all the Halo maps with Sonic skin. It'd be amazing. Look.
Well, I mean,
and you get headshot.
We already have Master Chief in Fortnite, right? We have Master Chief and Kratos. So, like, wait a minute, it is like Fortnite.
Does anyone here like Halo cosmetics enough to want? They all look the same to me. Yeah, I
think it's an acquired taste, right? Like, I remember specifically Halo 3. That was the last one that I played like a lot. And people trying to do unlocks of certain armor pieces to complete armor sets and to have all sorts of just different like looks.
It's not just stroking your digital e-peen, isn't that?
I mean, maybe
no benefits except you look more badass, right?
Right. I mean, no, sure. I mean, it's an aesthetics thing. Absolutely, it's definitely a choice.
It's a choice.
I think it's interesting that it's not just like a chest piece and it's like the entire. It's like the center chest piece of the armor. The what are they called?
Pauldrons.
I can
shoulder pads too.
Yeah, the shoulder pads, the pauldrons, and different shapes of those, and different shapes of the forearms, and the hand, the armor piece over the hand. So like every single segmented piece can be customized so that you don't just look like another Spartan running around.
Right.
You look like just different enough that it's a customized piece of armor.
Pauldrons. Yep, got it. Nailed it.
Yep,
and then you got Pergamene e-peen all the way down.
Oh yeah, totally. 100% e-peen. It's all about like who's gonna be the one glowing with fire and like, you know.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, which one matches the map close enough so I'm camouflaged with the smallest silhouette? Like I'm always like, how do I pick an outfit?
And they do have color schemes that do that. For sure, they do that. So I don't know. I've been enjoying it. Like
That's great.
The customization. There's a lot of course. There's emotes. There's starting poses. There's end poses. So you just be like, like this, or you could just, there's salutes and all sorts. I mean, kind of like
all the shit I don't give a crap about.
But you know what? Good for Microsoft to embracing
Yeah,
that, and good for 343 to kind of go and hey, we're the OG FPS. Well, not OG, but we're one of the first like big console first-person shooters that really did it. Why can't we do the the service style
right
play?
Yes, why don't we enter the game after it's fully matured?
Yeah,
feels a little stale, and hopefully change
that's all right, because you get to see what people like and don't like, and what's the new like, as long as you don't hit the same markers. That said, there's already issues with the battle pass. The progression of the XP without purchasing a battle pass is a slog right now, and it's gonna need some adjusting for sure.
Gotcha. Huh.
So that's definitely one thing that that's already been complained about. Only 24 hours in, and there's already articles about going, it's bad. So that's good. I mean, in the sense that there's going to be some sort of addition. Now we're about battle passes. It's in beta. And that's super. Yes, exactly. And hopefully,
Fortnite did that too. They would award all sorts of backwards experience points. Thanks for playing from November 1st to November 30th. Here's a bajillion experience points, right? Yeah. So, and yeah, Forza is what I see a lot of.
Yeah, so. Pedro, I know you're not a big racing fan. You're like not a fan. I know this is
it's like two genres that I despise.
I know. And but I will say, and a lot of the articles out there have said it, that what's been great about playing, one of the things that I love about racing games and I hate about racing games is Forza Horizons is the arcade segment of the Forza series. You have Forza Motorsports and then Forza Horizons. Motorsport is more like Gran Turismo, very finicky, like, adjust every spring and every shock and, aerodynamics and run into the wind tunnel and, tweaking every bit of horsepower. It's a simulator. Forza Horizon is arcade. I mean, you're literally going off the top of a mountain with a Lamborghini, and somehow or another you land and it doesn't fall apart. That said, one of the things is, as you progress in a game like this, it's always been the difficulty tunes in a very different way. And like you get to a point, a plateau in a racing game where either you're into racing games or you can no longer have fun.
Right.
And
that's my experience for racing games every time.
Yeah, you run through the first few races and you're like, this is fun, and then eventually
I'm a racing god. And that was a little tough.
Yeah, that was a little tough. And yeah,
seventh place.
At that point,
what happened?
You no longer play it.
Right.
What's been kind of great is the accessibility options and the tuning of the speed of the game and the lines, and it also has almost like an auto drive mode, for people with
people just want to tune out.
I mean, it's just it's also made for accessibility purposes, people that with one hand or multiple methods of control, so that they can't steer but they can like use the accelerator and the brake, that sort of thing. So because of that, it's allowing people to play the game in a very different way. And people that aren't into racing games, also the presentation of this game has been very arcadey and fun, that people are going, hey, this might be the first racing game that I've been into. Like it's 9 out of 10 all over the place. And
I mean, all the Forzas get 9 out of 10s, right?
Not this bad.
I mean, I
it
guess
hasn't been this.
They must be doing okay if they're up to number 5, right? That's
yeah. So I mean,
again, I've seen some screenshots. I know Pergamine posted some screenshots of his Forza experience. He's been enjoying it. I found it. So like one of the things I think are neat are the found experiences. My buddy runs a newsletter called Crossover Appeal, where he does like recommendations. It's pretty cool if you can check it out, the Crossover Appeal. And he did a little article about how he experienced his one of his passed away friends get to play with him in the game, because you got the ghost thing of your friends who drive. So, he can race against his friend. And I thought it was a really beautiful way to like experience a game, and that you can't have an experience like that in any other sort of medium. And I think games are cool that way. So
that's interesting.
In that sense, it made me want to play.
In Forza, I hop into a race, and sure enough, you were one of the ghosts that came in.
Me?
Yeah, you were one of the ghosts.
Did I drive like shit?
No, you came in. You were up there. Like again, the AI, it picks up random assortment of names in your list, in your friends list, and it assigns them to ghosts. And so like And then as you progress, you can kind of like keep up with that one. Like it's, but yeah,
That's pretty neat.
I've got a couple of friends. Your brother was one of them on there.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
so like
But
all
the-
these, and for a
I
moment,
wonder
I
if
have
it,
to think
drives
like,
with you.
are they playing this game? No, they're not. It's just their ghost. But that's how it's happening. Is their gamer tag exists out there, and their
This
friends.
Is why you delete cookies, bro.
No, that's not how it works. Like that commercial. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
This works. Yeah,
His ghost was like, I don't like racing games.
I'm gonna play something else.
What's going on, Brandon?
Hey, thanks for jumping on, Brandon. That's good. So yeah, people really like it. Forza. I mean, I'm not a big fan of driving games. I'd almost rather play anything else all the time, right? But I do want to try it. It's one of the things that's awarding a ton of points on the Xbox Chivo point thing. So I definitely have to play it at some point.
Yeah. Oh, again, one of the things that's also interesting is it's open world, but there's like GPS. So it's like go here, and it's telling you, but you can completely ignore that and just
drive around.
You're rewarded to go through the freaking desert and go into the water and go into the jungle, and that's kind of one of the cool things.
Yeah.
Your achievement, yes, cautious. Pedro's achievement.
I'm like what at almost 150. I might be approaching 200. I'm doing really well. I'm not as much in November as I want, but I'm definitely scoring a lot of points this year.
Yeah. I've definitely gotten a lot more as of lately. But yeah. Brendan, this is a good segue to this. Yeah, G4 launched today. It's interesting that they're actually a cable channel again. They're also YouTube and Twitch. Yeah, I know, right?
Cable what?
No, I haven't discussed it, but yeah, it is definitely something that's it's exciting. It is.
Is it any good? I haven't watched any. I mean,
G4 was good when it was around. It was really treated poorly by the.
This is what Attack of the Show, right?
Yeah, Attack of the Show.
That's all I watched. That's all I remember watching.
Attack of the Show. I watched X-Play was my go-to.
All right,
Sessler, Morgan Webb. It was a way to watch video reviews in a very topical way versus going to like GameSpot at the time and watching. This is pre-YouTube almost, right? Like YouTube was around, but it wasn't the same. There wasn't as many personalities doing reviews on a weekly basis. Or IGN or GameSpot put up their videos on their own site as opposed to going to YouTube channel to watch it. So they're back. Adam Sessler, Morgan Webb, they're all back. They're hosts, and it's exciting. Today it launched. I'm gonna go check it out, watch some of the launch stuff later on, and I'll get back to everyone on what I think. But it's exciting.
So I have to pay for cable to watch it though?
No. It's also all their
Hulu?
stuff, all their stuff will be on their channel, but you can also watch it on Twitch or.
I gotcha. All right.
They're mass. They're doing a mass push.
I gotcha. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Screensavers call for help. Well, I mean, that was when it was Tech TV, and then it was like it had multiple names before it. But yeah, Tech TV became G4, which then became.
When did it become Spike?
Yeah, it became. I don't know, and then it became Esquire or something.
Then it became History Channel, and now Aliens.
It became nothing. They just ZDTV, Tech TV. That's what it was at first, and then it became merged. It was a mess. A lot of people. It was Comcast bought it. I think it was
TV for guys, right? Come on, specialization.
Roll Tide.
It just had Star Wars on all the time.
It had Star Wars. It had Cops, the Man Show. That's right, Man Show.
Man Show, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the golden age of television, everybody, right? Does no one remember when cable was cable?
Do we call that the golden age? What's the corrosive age? The rust
corrosive age? What age are we in now? The cord cutting age? The Netflix age?
It's the non-existent age. Like people don't pay for cable; they pay for services that allow you to watch allow you to watch content that's on cable, but they don't watch it at the time that it actually airs.
Yeah, no, and then they get frustrated when they can't watch it all at once.
Right.
What are you dropping this one episode nonsense? Make it stop.
Yeah. I mean, like a good example is we don't, pay for it, but we watch we like a lot of the cooking shows that come on Food Network. So we'll get notified. My phone will watch. It's like, hey, new episode of this is now on Apple TV or whatever, because it keeps track of what you watch. And so it notifies you, but it's just all part of the Food Network channel that
there you go.
It's put up. So it'll go up and then it goes up digitally. So I'll just rather watch it digitally when I want to than have to watch it at the exact time that it airs.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you do notifications. I'm all like, has Cowboy Bebop gone on? And then I have
Yeah,
to search
no,
for
no.
it
I
like
mean,
an idiot. Like,
so I mean, if hey, what's going on, Tim? Yeah, no. If you're not familiar with how the Apple TV like ecosystem works, of course, with Apple and whatnot, when you launch the Apple TV, like an actual Apple TV, actual Apple TV will, as you download all the other apps, Hulu, Netflix, whatever, it keeps track of that through your iCloud, knowing what you're watching only within its own ecosystem, and so you get notifications saying, "Hey, the new episode of this got put up" or whatever, and it's only within that.
Sounds like you need to delete your cookies, bro.
Yeah, I gotta delete my cookies. Nope.
The algorithm's going to recommend stuff you don't want to watch. You don't want to watch that.
I know. Do you ever? Funny thing is, Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus is one of those channels that I have, and I don't pay for it. I don't know what happened.
They just stopped charging you.
So I realized.
Don't let them know you're calling them.
I don't know. I popped on to the 7-day trial when it first launched, and then I didn't like it, and I canceled my subscription. And I went and checked, and it's gone. I haven't been charged a single cent.
Right.
But then I went to my app, and I'm like, I'm gonna go check it out. I'll sign up for a month to watch Lower Decks or whatever.
Sure.
And it just worked. And I was like, okay. And I kept watching. Then we watched the movie the other day on it, and I was like, okay, am I still paying for this? And I went back and looked at it's not. I'm not paying for it. So I'm like, I don't know what happened. And I get it. No,
there's a glitch in there. You're just gonna get discovered.
So Dan, I do have T-Mobile, but I haven't assigned my account to it. Like I haven't done the setup process for it. I know they're giving it to you for free for a year, so I don't know. I'm doing the T-Mobile Netflix thing, and so I'm grandfathered into that. So I don't know what I mean.
I just pirate everything on Paramount. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, no. Star Trek. I love you so much, but I can't purchase a channel just for Star Trek.
This is why we won't have the Star Trek future.
This is why we don't have nice things.
This is why we don't have Star Trek. This is why we aren't in the stars. Yes. Someone steals the plans off the Pirate Bay.
I'm calling the cops.
They're on a G4 right now.
Vagabond dog. No snitching. No snitching.
I mean, you can pirate by proxy. You're right. It's like you watch the pirated content that someone else downloads through their Plex server.
Those pirates needed to stop and port every so often to buy more cannonballs.
You barter. Here's some of that booty. Give me some of that.
Here you go. Thanks for that.
So let's hop into let's hop into the Marvel universe, because you watched Shang-Chi now finally.
I did finally watch it. I didn't realize I was late to the show. I didn't realize it was even out. I totally missed.
So it came out this past weekend on Friday or Thursday or whatever
on Disney Plus, but I guess it launched earlier than that, right?
Yeah. It came out in theaters and then it was, but they hadn't. Yes, it was.
So I could talk spoilers then. Most people should have seen it by now.
Go for it. I haven't seen it, but I'm okay with
you. Haven't seen it?
No, I'm okay because I saw Eternals.
I have not seen Eternals.
Right.
That I have not seen.
So I'll talk a little bit about that. You talk a little about Shang-Chi, and let's go.
So I went into Shang-Chi blind, right? I don't even know who this hero is. I've never read any Marvel comic involving Shang-Chi. Don't know anything about it. I know who the Mandarin is, but this was a very different Mandarin than the one I remember, thankfully. But
not problematic.
Much less problematic.
Fu Manchu, less floating around,
We won't even mention how problematic the Mandarin was. And I get into the movie and I'm watching it, and I didn't realize, I feel like I got bamboozled. It's a martial arts film and a weird one, right? It's got dragons and all sorts of wild shit going on. And I loved it. I thought it was great. It was like Thor Ragnarok. It was just an enjoyable comic book movie experience.
Right. Without a lot of the baggage.
Without any of the baggage. It was so great.
I mean, there are tie-ins, and you do see some characters, and you're
Wong is there, but I love Wong. Who doesn't love Wong?
Yeah, who doesn't love Wong? Wong. That's right.
It was great. It was just great. I thought Awkwafina was great. I thought the chemistry and the jokes were snappy and awesome. I don't know. I thought it was a phenomenal and fun film.
So go watch it on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
can't go wrong with Wong. That's right.
Can't go wrong with Wong. It's true.
Can't.
And then it ended, and I'm like, wait, but I've been so trained by Marvel movies to think it's connected in some way to all the other films, and I was weirded out that it didn't feel like it connected at
It
all to
does.
the
It
universe.
is in some
I'm
ways.
sure, but like if I have to solve a freaking riddle and read 10 other books and 12 websites,
Yeah, but
it's not.
What's important about it is that it's not important right now.
Right.
That's good.
This is like the beginning of a new Marvel arc, and I love it.
Yeah.
By the time you get to movie 15 of the current arc, you're just like, oh, at least I'm like, when is this gonna end?
Yeah,
like it's just too long, it's too brutal. Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen many things of Aquafina that I loved, but she was really fun in this.
Jumanji, Jumanji, the next level. I freaking love her in that.
Oh, I haven't seen that. All right,
oh god, my kiddos watch that one on repeat for some reason. That's a movie that they're like stuck on. My youngest Ollie was like, "Can I watch Jumanji?" And I'm like, "Okay." And I'll put on the first one. He's like, "No, part 2." I'm like, part two? You are watching part 2. He goes, no, I mean, well, part 3, Dad, not the original one. I'm like, oh, okay. And sure enough, it's the next level. It's the one with Aquafina.
Wow.
Really? I haven't watched it. I'm feeling a little Marvel fatigue. Not that any of they're bad, but it's just so much. I feel obligated to watch this and that. You haven't even watched Captain Marvel? Yeah, no, Brandon, that's totally okay.
I mean, all right. I haven't watched Captain the Winter Soldier yet.
You're not alone. After Eternals, which I'm about to talk about right now, all these articles started coming out about like, there's this one, of course, that was completely like, why we should kill off the MCU now, and it's just all this like nonsense. It's just like people need to chill.
Clickbaity,
clickbait nonsense. But Brendan, it is true. You are feeling fatigue because you have now experienced what is now about 24 movies, not including like 4 or 5 series. And you're trying to keep this like all of it stuck all in your head. You're trying to keep this chronological like stuff because they've gotten to a point where
you're 40 or 30 something. You're not 12, so you can't keep it up there anymore, right?
And not just that,
I can memorize.
What's happening now is we've run through that first arc of the story, and then, for example, you in Shang-Chi, for example, one of the characters that comes back is Abomination.
Was that the weird green dude that they find in the ring?
Yes, he's the guy that fought Hulk in the first Marvel movie.
I don't remember that.
The Ed Norton Hulk.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember. But
that's Abomination.
Okay,
he's in the movie, but like that's what I'm saying. Like now they're going back to the first ones and pulling random characters and bringing them up because they're like, well, we can't use.
They're not pulling them from the first one. They're just pulling a character in the comic book.
Right, but that character's already been cast. So like you're like, oh yeah. So everyone, if you remember the movie, everyone's like, oh, and then you're like, I don't. Who is that?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the ring and I was like, I think that's Abomination. Is that Abomination? I'm pretty sure that's Abomination. And then it was done. Right. So spoilers, everyone. Abominations in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I'm almost worried some days I can be able to remember why. Yeah, exactly. You walk into a room and you're like, why am I here again?
Oh, come on. We're all adults here. I'm going to talk about Eternals here for a second. So
wait, there was a sex scene.
Yeah, there's a sex scene in a Marvel movie. I thought it's barely a sex scene. It's like them shirtless on the beach. It's like it's very mild. Anywho, Eternals. I walked in with no expectations to watch this movie. I didn't know what I wanted out of this movie. I already felt very like I felt that Marvel fatigue, and it was also here are the Eternals. For those who don't know who the Eternals are pretty much like celestial beings, or minions of celestial beings, aka a big group of Silver Surfers. If it is the best way to put it. You know, Galactus is a celestial being, and then his herald, an almighty person, is Silver Surfer, who's like cosmic powers.
At the end, everybody. So pay attention. There's going to be a test at the end.
Test at the end. With Eternals, it's that same thing. The Celestials, one of the big gods, gave power or have these beings, Eternals, and they send them to planets to protect things.
Right.
And they protect humanity from deviants, these monsters or whatever that are, you know, out to kill. I mean, there's without spoiling what happens.
A new group of villains
or whatever. And so the problem is these characters at the very beginning, here they are at the beginning of civilization with like cave people and like, you know, they're out there and they're just like doing god level things. I mean, like wiping planets out. I mean, Superman style powers. I mean, just complete overpower, things that could have been useful in all of the other major battles in the Marvel universe.
Right. They just set it out. Yeah.
And so for about 3/4 of the movie,
so about 2 hours,
the whole point of the movie is them kind of really explaining the fact that they could not be involved with humanity. That's like the big MacGuffin that's written. It's like Marvel had to write it this way to go, they can't interfere. They can't interfere. They're under strict orders. They can't interfere. But because of the Thanos situation and the amount of people that came back, things have triggered earlier than they should have. And now they have to intervene. So,
I see. Marvel does Cloud Atlas. That's how I read it as well.
Yeah. It's right. It's exactly that. So the characters are fantastic. I loved seeing, in an unironic way, multiple superheroes or superpowers of different ethnicities. It was beautiful to see. They worked well. They didn't have to reference anything or anyone. They didn't have to reference that one of the characters was gay, and and later on he has a partner or whatever. None of that was. It was just the way of the world, and that felt good seeing that in a Marvel movie. Of course, the only thing that took me out of that scene was the couple behind us going, "Are you kidding me?"
Oh, okay.
Because I live in Texas, bro, and of course, someone.
And you were in the theaters.
And I was in a theater because I couldn't watch it at home. But we laughed about it afterwards. The group I was with, and they're like these idiots behind us or whatever, saying awful things, and not gonna bring up, not gonna get myself heated, but enough to know that they were there and they took me out of the scene. But that said, the movie was good. Again, it felt like a movie that was very isolated in the Marvel universe, where you really didn't need to know a lot of the baggage, other than all of that has happened, and now here's this new sliver. Where this goes, I don't know,
right? Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, that they go to space, so it's definitely maybe tying to the space line, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. We had
Galactus. It's Galactus.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's got to be. They're talking about Fantastic. It's Galactus. It has to be Galactus.
Yes. Thanos is related to the Eternals, but he is related to the Eternals in the comics. If they had known he was related to the Eternals now, they would have intervened. They did not. And Marvel is being very specific about the lineage of Thanos, because that's how they're able to write that. So in the comic books, Thanos is related.
He is an Eternal, isn't he?
His brother is an Eternal. Like
that's what I'm saying. Isn't Eros his brother?
Eros his brother. I mean, Eros shows up at the end, and he mentions.
Why do I know so much about this shit?
Because it's ingrained in our freaking lizard brain. That's why we know this. But Eros is the brother of Thanos, and he shows up at the end, and he's played by he's the post-credit scene spoiler. Sorry.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, what does it matter at this point? Like that's the first thing everyone talks about. The moment the movie came out, there was 50 articles about the post credit. What are the ramifications of the post credits? And you're like,
you haven't seen the movie yet, but we're already.
Yeah. Secrets out. And I'll spoil the next part real quick. So Kit Harington is in the movie.
Kit Harington, Jon Snow.
Yeah. Jon Snow's in the movie. And it looks like he can't play a character that isn't medieval. So it looks like he is without. He's the Black Knight.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, totally. Like Marvel's like really pulling strings, so like the Black Knight.
There's got to be more peanut butter.
There's got to be more stuff to get there somewhere. But it's exactly it. There's got to be more peanut butter. That's the best way to scrape it. So the Black Knight. But what was really cool is his scene. At the very end, kind of like he doesn't even say who he is. He just opens up and you see a sword, and
fair.
So he's about to grab the sword to kind of embrace, I guess, his like power or whatever. And all you hear off camera is, "Are you sure you're ready to do that?" And the voice is the actor. What's his name? Marshawn Ali. Who has been cast already? We already know from all the news articles as Blade.
Oh, I didn't realize Blade was coming back. See, this is stuff I don't know.
Yeah. So he's been cast as Blade, so we heard his voice on camera.
Isn't there like a vampire movie coming out in the Sony universe?
Yes, Morbius.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
That's coming out.
So it's basically a Matrix 2 situation where we're going to have vampires and ghosts and stuff running around.
Yeah. It's the new Blade. So again, it's fantastic movie. Go watch it if you really like that fantasy kind of magic / superhero feel, where it's it's right up there. It feels like a family film too, because they are all family, and but they're also a family that's kind of been stuck with each other on a planet that they really don't want to be on anymore. Some of them do, some of them don't. Some of them have fallen in love with Earth and
So like
humanity.
real life.
Yeah, and some of them are like, I want to leave this freaking hellhole.
We're all family on this planet Earth that we don't want to be on.
Yeah, exactly.
Blade voice talking to someone on screen about to grab a blade. Yeah, it's blades all the way down, Dan.
Blade. Yeah, blade. So last bit of news, and this is first, and this might be the.
Go online, enjoy the sex,
dude.
Everybody.
You are absolutely right, sir. He plays Kingo,
Sure.
and he's a badass character. He shoots energy from his hands. He reminds me of Dazzler.
Okay.
He just kind of does like finger guns and just shoots like energy from his hands.
It.
So I thought that's pretty cool. He can charge it like Dragon Ball style, but most of the time he's just like, just doing this.
All
so
right,
very cool character. A good Bollywood scene with him. I thought it was great. He's great.
I can get behind Dazzler with the 6-pack. I'm in.
Yeah, Dazzler with 6-pack. I'm in. One funny thing about it is they all kind of leave each other and they kind of spread apart, or
sure, make some
kind of live their life for a while. And you come to find out that he was an actor. And one of the funny parts about it is like someone asks him like, how did no one notice that you'd been around in cinema for the past like 100+ years? And he's in front of like all these movie posters, and he's like, well, my great granddad was fantastic in this, and my great granddad was in this. So basically, it's like he would just disappear and come
He's
back.
a Barrymore. Sutherland, right? These folks have legacies all through all the films.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was funny, and he's a great character. I'm excited to see more. That's the problem, is these characters, we don't know when we'll see them again, and they really showed up to really be. They filled the part of the Marvel universe that I wanted, but they're characters that aren't as exciting as ones that are going to get constant sequels. So when we'll see these characters again, I don't know.
All right. I mean, we're saying goodbye to all the other previous arcs, right? They're finishing out their movies, and then we're coming into this arc, right?
Right.
Yeah. Like, there's not going to be a 4th Captain America film. We're done with Captain America.
Yes, there is, but it's going to be with Falcon, right?
Right.
With the new Captain America.
Yeah. I got it.
So Dan, yeah, interesting. People are saying review bombs, and I know that it was a review bomb, but I don't know where to stand on it. I really went in there with no expectations, and I had fun watching it. So, like, again, go watch it, or wait for it to be Disney Plus or whatever, and then tell me if you like it. But it's, I enjoyed it again because it wasn't tied to all. Like, these characters were literally isolated on Earth for the entirety of humanity, so they have
and
no.
We
connection.
all need to agree. We all need to agree right now together that we don't go to the internet for any good information.
Yeah, you don't come here for good information.
We hang out, we have fun, but our reviews, no.
Yeah,
review bombs, all of that stuff, not good. Don't follow it. It's comments on YouTube. It's not where you should go ever.
So speaking of last Marvel flick, real quick to talk about, because we have to, and this might be the first time people are seeing it because it just came out today.
Okay, all right.
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
When you botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget that Peter Parker's Spider-Man, we started getting some visitors. From every universe.
I can get behind this.
Hello, Peter. You're not Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
All this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap. Flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Look, there has to be another way.
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Peter, you're struggling to have everything you want while the world tries to make you choose.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
It's a hard lesson.
What's happening?
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th. Spider Monday.
Oh, that's soon, December 17th.
Yeah,
That's
they've been
yeah.
holding back the spoilers on this. They sold tickets to this theater,
Yeah.
to this trailer tonight. Like there were people in LA watching this like live. Like they
A
paid
trailer?
tickets
That's
to
unbelievable.
go see the trailer. I know.
Oh
It's
my
like,
gosh. What have we come
but yeah,
to? What have we come
yeah, no. So Jamie
wait,
Foxx.
just 1 second. So I was reminded in watching that trailer how much I enjoyed Shang-Chi because of the practical effects of martial arts.
Yeah,
Right? These are stunt folks beating each other up, and there's a great scene in Shang-Chi on the bus that they're all martial arting their way through it, and it's fantastic. The CGI fight scenes don't do it for me, Joe. They really like Spider-Man versus Octopus on that bridge. It just doesn't do it for me at
yeah.
all.
It's like they've
it's like
gotten
the
a little
practical effects.
formulaic. I
Yeah,
agree with
it's
you,
like
but
boring.
there was like a happy medium time where some of the CG helped. Like I guarantee you, even in Shang-Chi, there was enough CG help to make it look, but it still looked practical enough.
There was enough practical stuntman effects there.
Yeah, there's definitely
With
some
those
scenes.
stuntmen, says Vagabond Dog. I'm a huge fan of martial arts films in general. And yeah,
Demand blood.
I demand blood, but it's not. It's I don't know, man. It's just that it was refreshing in Shang-Chi to see like
What's going on, Gary?
2/3 of the movie be practical effects versus this sort of like third set that was just CGI. I mean, that's when I started to tune out the film, honestly, when it was just CGI battles, because it doesn't feel like there's any stakes in it. There's no
Right.
blood, as Vagabond would say, right?
Yeah.
That bridge scene was totally practical.
They really did that.
It's like people in green leotards throwing brooks at each other, right?
Yeah.
It's really
What's
boring.
and again, I'm gonna get lynched by this, but I have to really state that I know people didn't like they didn't like Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield as a movie. I know a lot of people enjoy Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I do. I think he's my
I didn't see
favorite one
any
in
of
the
the-
the suit. I like him as Peter. He's definitely he's older looking, older feeling as Tom Holland. I thought his like
Tom Holland looks like the youngest of them.
yeah. Well, he
He's like a
might be.
13-year-old
I mean,
Spider-Man.
yeah, but he's not. He's like 28 or something like that.
He looks like he's 13. Though.
Yeah.
I check
but
his ID every time.
I would too. But he's Andrew Garfield. The first 15 minutes of Amazing Spider-Man 2 really shows Spider-Man. And it's practical effects are not what I like about that is he's out on patrol, he's on his way to his graduation, he's running late as usual, and like there's a robbery or something going on, and so he decides to go and help that because that's what Spider-Man does. And he's on the side of a truck and he's like fighting a guy in a truck and kind of going back and forth, and that's Spider-Man, right? Like it's not so much like got to be in the air 100 feet, he's on the ground fighting them, but still doing like all this impractical stuff, and that was fun to me.
Yeah,
it's neat. Him seeing him like web up like light poles to slow down a truck and stuff was cool. I don't know. I mean, I haven't. I felt like I haven't had that enough with this Spider-Man.
Yeah.
The last Spider-Man movie, he has the big battle on London Bridge or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, it's way too much. I feel like I just need Spider-Man on the street fighting a villain.
In an alleyway, sidecracking
Yeah.
a purse snatcher, right?
Yeah, I don't
New York,
feel like we get that
1983.
yet. Tom Holland got thrown into a really big Spider-Man.
Spider-Man must always stop to catch the kid's balloon.
Right.
Those who don't know. There you go. Yes.
Right. I mean, he does in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Good example. The first 15 minutes of that movie, Electro's character, Jamie Foxx's character, is heading to the office and he's got all these blueprints or whatever,
Mhm.
and he basically drops them as like the chase is going. He stops in the middle of the chase and like webs up all his like blueprints and helps him out. And he's like, "Hey you, you're my eyes in New York. Keep it up." And he was like, he knows me. He got all like starstruck and he
That's
flew
right.
off.
I do
You know,
remember that. Yeah.
it's such
I
a
do
good
remember that.
like
Oh my God,
New York Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And we don't get that with this one. Like if he's Spider-Man of the world, which is cool,
but also he's CGI Spider-Man, which
yeah.
is I
So
don't know.
again,
I miss it.
Tom is 25. Yes, he's 25, but he looks like he's 15. Like that's what I'm saying. Like he's definitely old. He's old enough to
Isn't
buy
he
a
in high
drink.
school in the movie? Like he's young. He's playing a young
Yeah.
guy. Yeah. Toby was 26 when the first movie was made.
When the first movie, he's 25 now, and we're 3 Spider-Mans in.
Yeah.
That's like I get that we wanted a young Spider-Man, but I don't know. No, I digress. I like him. Tom Holland is I think he's a great Spider-Man.
This is his last Spider-Man film, right? They're only
I
allowed
don't
to
know.
do 3 before they have to kill the uncle again. Isn't that?
It's before they have to
Am I
kill the
right?
uncle again? Well, I mean, we'll just do multiple animated movies now, right?
And then Aunt May gets younger, right? Eventually, she's gonna.
She gets younger, or we get older and we're more attracted to Aunt May. I don't know. I mean, I thought Sally Fields was hot. I don't know.
Why not both?
Why not both? Sally Fields is great. So
That's amazing. That's hilarious. I love it. I love it. You know what we don't love though? The GTA definitive. You got it.
thank you. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it home for the end of the show.
Let's close out on a big.
So GTA 3, man, the definitive edition. My God, what a mess! What a nightmare! As we talked earlier in the show, in the first half of it, we talked about how things have been pulled from the store. The definitive edition was announced pretty close to its release. It was kind of like a surprise, like, oh look, here it is, and then like 3 weeks later, it came out. That's great. I mean, I was very happy for it, although. If you are a fan of the show and you've seen Rockstar, our love for Rockstar, Rockstar is an interesting company where they will spend a lot of time on randomness, like horse testicles.
Yep.
And we talked about it.
Detail.
The horse testicles have to be perfect. They have to be closer to the horse in the cold and lower in the heat.
Yes.
You know, I mean, like shit you not, like that's an actual thing developers like actually programmed into Red Dead Redemption. But that said, I wasn't a big fan of the game, and neither was Cautious. We couldn't get through the controls. It felt like
Gameplay wasn't there.
Yeah, it just felt tough. GTA 5 has been sold to us like a billion times now. It's basically Skyrim for Rockstar. And so here they were like, what could Rockstar do again? And sure enough, is sell us the original 3 games all over again. That said, it was about time. I mean, honestly, they hadn't done it in a while. They really hadn't resold that original trilogy in a long time. So giving it off to a company to kind of remaster felt exciting. And they really cherry picked some of the clips when they really announced it, because now that it's in the hands of reviewers and players, first off, it was already pulled from the PC store for a while. It's now back up as of today, but for the past weekend, it was gone. You couldn't buy it from the PC.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because they accidentally left some source code in there. So, yeah.
Classic Rockstar.
Classic Rockstar. But it's been released again. That said, if you're familiar with the memes, I mean, I'm sure you've been watching them online. They're everywhere. They're bad. Some things are beautiful and some things are absolutely terrible.
It looks like the best joke I saw was that it looks like the Californication video. Is that
it looks like Californication video. If any guys are familiar with go watch the Californication video, and then you're like, oh my God, that's GTA Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
It's they wanted to go with an art style. Okay, so GTA 3, the first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the wobbling car left and right clip, and apparently that bug is in the original GTA, and you have to trigger it. There's a way to trigger it to happen in the old version of GTA, but they didn't patch it. So again, it's so definitive that they didn't even fix things that were already broken.
I like that they have the list of things that were broken and we're like, we didn't fix it last time. Let's just leave it in. It's going to be fine. It'll be fine.
So on Twitter, I tweeted out last night, a modder was going through looking at the files, and sure enough, they took a good example is they took the model of Big Smoke from San Andreas. They brought it into Blender, and they did they basically did what is it, a subdivision on it to basically add more vertices to it by two times.
2 times.
And
the
soon as they did that, boom, it was the model they used in the game.
Oh, all right, yeah. So it's nice and smoothed out. It's gonna be great.
Right. But basically what they did is they batch did it to all of the files. So then another thing was like there's a nuts and bolts, I think is what it's called. It's
Tough Nuts.
Tough Nuts. It's the donut shop. So there is a donut. There's a donut, and then there is a big giant nut, like a nut and bolt kind of thing,
Yep.
sitting right next to the donut. In the game, that's supposed to be jagged.
Yep.
But because they batch ran all of those, the nut has been turned into a circle. Because
Has been turned into a donut. That is what they always intended. In the,
you're right. They turned
George Lucas is like, we couldn't get curves in graphics back then, so now we have.
It's like the one thing that's supposed to be boxy and polygonal, they broke it. Like that just goes to show, like, this was they ran there's misspellings. So some of the textures, like the parking, like no parking and all that kind of stuff, they ran that through AI. Like an upscale AI, and there's misspelling. Basically, it thought it was another word. So now there's like no bugbears or big bears or all sorts of like misspellings on the text because they just it's like they threw the game into like upscale now, and then they released it.
It's not a button.
It's not a button.
So the reason why I keep bringing it up is because Joe spent like 5 days just sending me pictures and screenshots of this thing, and I'm like, what is this, Joe? Like, you normally give everyone a chance. You love these things. You're happy when old games are made new again. And Joe's just raging in a corner, yelling at a game we haven't talked about at all in 154 episodes.
Right. And I think we
do not care at all.
We're living in a world where we're getting remasters because we can't buy old games anymore, right?
Yes.
That's
it should have stayed in the oven a lot more. Really.
Yeah. We're in a state where we can't play old games the way we have new systems. We can't play our old games on our new systems the way we want to. These companies then take the new games and say they want to resell them to us.
Sure.
Fine. At least give us equal or better. But you're not. That when they
don't buy them.
Or don't buy it.
Yes.
Don't buy it.
That's just don't buy it. That's what I say. I know we're super fans and we can't help but buy things day one. Maybe don't. Maybe wait.
And I haven't. I did download the free one off Game Pass because it is free. I'm not paying for it.
It's free for you to enjoy.
I put up a video. Over the weekend on my Twitter because I thought it was funny that I have the original copy on PS2 and the original copy on Xbox, the original Xbox copy, and I've got to hear the two new behemoths, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, and I popped in my PlayStation 2 disc into my PlayStation 5, and of course it goes unsupported disc.
Right.
So I can't play the original version. I can't download the original version. I have to have
you have to plug in your PlayStation 2, right?
Or my 3, I think, is the last one that you could buy digitally. So yeah, I have to pop in my old system, or on the Xbox, I pop in my Xbox disc, and Xbox goes, I know what this is, and it just allowed me to play the game.
That's amazing.
I mean, like, I'm not trying to be biased towards the systems, but
this is your drum. This is your drum to beat, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the hill I die on. Let me play the old games that I have on disc on your new systems. Just let me do it.
Yeah.
There's no reason PS2.
I have to plug in my old system. Why?
Yeah, no, I know. I have mine. Mine is sitting plugged in. Mine is already plugged in. The point is the fact that you.
It's tough, Vagabond, because he actually needs to get up and walk to the other wing of his house, past the butler, who is not allowed to play any video games. Vagabond. Yeah. This is the wonderful after Joe.
It's the truth. It is the truth. I'm sorry. The original game, like I popped in the PS2 version of the game, and
original. Of course, it's the original. Come on.
Yeah. No.
I love it.
Totally. Let's take a look.
I have to hit composite 2 on my remote. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's exactly it. I'll pull it up for you guys.
You're gonna pull up the video for us?
Yeah. So here's Tough
Nuts. Tough Nuts Donuts. Let's
Yeah, so
close
you-
out on Tough Nuts Donuts.
You can see here that this is the original version of it, right? So the donut is all
And the joke makes sense here. The joke makes sense here with Tough Nuts Donuts.
Yeah, so here's this
Does not make sense.
and here's the donut which they ran through, but then the nut on the right has totally been turned into like
And look, everything is so smooth. It's
Yeah,
just the
it's
smoothest game.
it's like, and when you look at I mean the comments on this, and they're absolutely ridiculous. You see people talking about how they're like, this is one of the first tutorials in Blender. Like it's ridiculous. Yeah, here we go. Like,
Oh my
boom,
gosh.
and then it's literally like subdivide selected edges, smooth vertices, boom.
Boom.
Like that's what they did. It's
That's
like
how you make a donut every day. That's how you turn a nut into a donut.
God. So funny.
Oh, Rockstar. Sometimes they're gonna miss. I think they've missed.
So yeah, this is the video I put up. So yeah, I mean, it's like I thought Rockstar. I think they could do better.
In there, you get the little map of.
Yeah,
San
man.
Andreas.
Of course,
That's
I got my
amazing.
copy still in there.
Like, of course, it's mint condition.
But yeah, no, I mean the joke wasn't to rag on one or the other, but it was like it allows me to still play the old game, right? Like if I want to play the old version of the game versus the new one, I shouldn't have to pull out an old system. It's not like the PS5 doesn't have the power to do it, right?
Yes, you do have to pull out an old system, Joe. This is the world you live in.
They're
jackass.
discs, man.
It's ridiculous.
It's
This is
discs.
ridiculous. Of
It's
course,
discs.
you have to.
Disc is
pick up the
unsupported.
old
There's
one.
no reason.
You look at thumbs down. Throw it in the trash. Just throw it in the trash.
It's worthless.
This guy made a video about how you have to use a TV remote.
Yeah. No, totally. I totally did. Absolutely.
Look, it works right there, and he's got to use the boo.
No. That's the definitive. I don't want to play that. I want to play the original
I'm gonna
version.
play the original version. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, as long as you bought the old version, right? Because they've already pulled. You can't buy the old versions anymore. They pulled them from the stores. That's the part. And there it is. Boom, right there.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So I mean, it was just funny that I popped this in and it freaking worked. And sure enough, I could play the old version of San Andreas right there on
the big screen. Look at it loading up. Boom. That's good stuff. So play the original. The thumbs up really sold it to me.
Also, to be fair, I think that whatever the Xbox Series X is doing to the game already looks pretty nice.
That looks great. That actually does look great.
I mean, for a game as old as it is, whatever it's doing for the upscale,
and you've got the original music, right? That's the
and all the original music tracks.
yeah,
Absolutely,
all the original music tracks. That's what made the game great, was the original music tracks. That's good stuff, everybody.
No. It's GTA. It's San Andreas. It's the San Andreas cover art. It's what Xbox did was when Xbox started doing the backwards compatibility, the original Xbox version, the OG one, got upgraded. Got upgraded to the 360 version.
Right.
So the 360 version was exactly the same, just running an emulator to run it. And then so when you pop in the original Xbox version disc, it downloads the 360 version, then runs the 360 version. And that's why it boots up.
It all sounds very complicated.
It's complicated, but it's just 3 generations of the same game running, but it's still the core install was the original disc. Which again, it's no reason why, if I own the PS2 version, why shouldn't the system go, hey, I can't
Sony,
play this.
Because it's Sony. They
I
made a
can't play
business
this,
decision.
But this is a
Nintendo
real
does the
disc.
same thing. All of these garbage systems do the same exact thing. So
It's the real disc, man. Just give me the
just
copy.
This is the real disc.
Just download off the doodle.
I love it. I love it. All right, folks.
Yeah.
commercial.
So yeah, if you stream or anything with GTA, you're gonna get copyright struck. So there is an option in the new versions of Definitive to turn off like music or just play like beats or something in the background. That way, none of it gets hit with copyright strikes from Twitch and whatnot. That's the sad part, right? Like here we have networks like what we're doing right now, or Twitch, or YouTube, where you're supposed to be able to like do live streaming and gaming
It's
and all.
almost like all of the licensing rules of 100 years ago no longer apply to the current world we live in.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like no one has changed anything.
No one has changed anything.
No one has changed anything. And this this terrible blue ball spinning in space sucks to live on.
So if you really want to play these original games, you can still.
Joe's got them up on his eBay page. Go buy them. He's got multiple copies.
I mean, I suggest if you wanted to pick up those copies, I know that you can. San Andreas, the Xbox version can be found fairly easy.
Yeah, it was only $2.
I don't know if Vice City. I haven't tried GTA 3 and Vice City on it. I don't know if those are backwards compatible or not. I haven't looked at the list, but see if you can find them online. Pirate them.
Yeah.
Pirate them off PC if you can. And yeah, enjoy them that way for now until they go back and fix this because it's bad.
Or they like the way it looks and they're going to move on with their life. It's like that Jabba the Hutt scene in Star Wars, man. He's standing by that always, and it's so bad.
He is going to
so bad,
so bad,
so bad. All right, folks, close it out.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on another Tuesday. Oh, thank you. And again, we'll be back next week. It should be fine. I'm not on call. It was busy last week, but we're going to try to do 3 weeks in a row this week for sure.
Well, yeah,
anything planned?
We got to do a pre-Thanksgiving show.
We do. We're always thankful. Yeah. Anything planned this weekend?
Yes.
Fair enough.
I cannot share that on the internet.
Thanks, Megamon, for joining us. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, again, we're celebrating our anniversary, so we'll be going to a concert. My mother-in-law is coming in and watching my kid for overnight, so like we're getting out of the house, and
we've got a sitter, and we're going to go out of the house this weekend.
All right, there we go. You too. Look at that. Yeah. So there we go. You're still playing that Picross game. It's like he's like, I hate this game, but he's like, hate playing it. I love it.
That's my experience with Dicey Dungeons right now.
Are you playing that?
I love it. It's great.
I have been playing Unpacked.
It's great.
I'm almost done. So I'm guessing she broke up. Is that what happened? Was there a breakup?
Come on, did you not move into that house and you're like, this relationship isn't gonna last, right?
Yeah,
so that apartment not ridiculous?
So hold on. So before I forget, so there's a level in the game where you move in and the rooms are small, and you realize she has no workspace.
Yep.
You're supposed to notice that, right?
Yes. You start making up the story in your head. There's a tension there. Nothing was moved out of the way.
Nothing was. There was no space for you.
Yeah.
So that was also the first level where you can move their stuff.
Yep.
So I moved his shoes over, or gave myself enough room in the drawers to like put my clothes in. And
yep.
I thought it was interesting. I thought that was fun, but it's like a story that doesn't exist. Like it's not really telling you. But there is one where you put pictures up on the pegboard.
Yep.
And then when you end the level, it marks it in red, and that one you have to put away.
Yep.
So
there's a lot of great moments. It's neat. That Unpacking was amazing. I loved it. I loved playing it with my daughter. Right. I mean, even at 8 years old, she picked up a lot of the subtle clues. Oh, she's an artist. Oh, it looks like she's moving out. Is she back in her old room? Like, there's some great things there.
Yeah. So she goes back to her old room, and
the cane and the back brace. It's fantastic.
Yeah. No, exactly. All these little things. So like, I thought I was catching the story, but I love that none of it is verbalized or written. It's all visual, and it's visual art, but it's only done through how you're unpacking with the things that are placed in the way they are.
And you also make decisions. You can make the house messy as long as you put things where they belong and things like that. Or you can make it very neat and perfect, your perfect art space. You could do that as well. You could just stack things as high as you can, which is what my daughter enjoyed doing.
How much OCD did you have when you were like, could you tell what were socks and what were underwear, and like you're trying to like flip them? Because you could flip them and put them a specific.
I unpacked this person's life much in the same way I would unpack mine. Socks and underwear, same drawer, keep going. Like just be done with. You got one side socks, one size underwear, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But the one drawer for all the bras for sure is what I like to do.
Yeah. I thought that was good too.
Go
check it out. Go play it if you haven't. It's on Game Pass. It's on Steam. It's pretty cheap. I think it's on the other systems too. I think it's on Switch as well.
Yeah, it's a cheap game, low commitment, absolutely chill out, space out game.
Yeah, it's totally like it's the lo-fi of video games, right? Yeah. Like the idea is you just kind of play it and you're not. There's
sound
no skill.
Was excellent, Dan. 40 billion sounds. Every toilet sounds different, actually, Dan. If you flush them all,
all the toilets sound different. I did find it interesting. Also, you know how geeky I am when, as you pull out the little pixel box art for the video games, I knew which game was which.
That's part of the game as well. You could do. Did you figure out how to turn on the game system after you set it all up?
Yeah, yes, of course I did. I was like, oh, the GameCube. I'm like, oh, that's 1,000 Doors. That's Wind Waker. I know what box
It's
art
got
is.
some good taste. There's also books you could do that with as well.
Yeah. No, it's been great. Sound designer name was listed in the description. Yeah, no, it's a great game, and it's all about sound and visuals. So go check it out. It's cheap. It's a chill out game, and that was the game that I was playing before I was playing.
Solid. You better throw up those credits, man, because that's an easy win.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Let's go. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again. Like, subscribe, share. We'll be back next week. Another episode in the can. Take care, everyone.
Be kind.